Hi, it's Kelsey at Junk Journal Magic. Today I thought I'd show you how I make specimen cards for all sorts of things. My favorite though is sand samples from wherever I go. Basically I take a Dollar Tree card, there's a pack usually 10 or 12, and I cut off the edge, which I just did, but the cat walked in and sat right in the middle of everything, so I had to start over, so you don't get to see me throw that little bit away. So I take the back. The front I use for other things. The back is what I use for the slide. I'll show you real quick with the front. I just cut edges, punch a hole, and I have a journaling card. You can put a label over this with some other word if you don't want to have thanking you for your kindness on this particular card. So that's a real easy way to use those cards without printing anything on your computer and getting some really colorful pieces. So we need this piece and we fold it in half. Never mind, I found it. We fold it in half, and because there's writing on here, I chose to put a little piece of washi over the words because that's the only writing that'll show. And I found a tiny little rectangle, the size that would work on this piece. I taped it down flat with the washi, ran it through my Big Shot, and I got this piece. It's the outer piece you need for your sample card. Then we have to decide what to use for the window. We need something to hold the sand and other things inside the sample card. This packaging will work. It will. I didn't use it. Basically, you want to fold it in half and see if what you see inside your window, if everything's large enough. You want it much larger than the window though, because you're going to sew. So you can do that with one of these. You want to make sure to get this area here sealed and closed in case you do have to use a smaller little package like this. If you have a larger one, it's not that big a deal. But you want to make sure there's a flat edge that's sealed where you can get your stuff down inside the sample card when it's time to fill it. So you can do that. You can use plastic from windows on packages. This was a window. I pulled the plastic off and used it, acetate. This one is more like the one I use. It's much more flexible, and this one is very, very thick. You do not want the thick one. I worked on a set of 5 of these cards. Where'd it go? And everything was going well, but the needle gets stuck. It's very difficult to thread around here to sew each stitch. So you don't want to use heavy-duty acetate. This one, I was just trying to do it, and I could not get very far, and my needle would come out. I thought it was breaking, but it didn't break, which is not a problem. I have quite a few extra needles, but the thick plastic will give you so many issues going around this edge. So we decided what's good for using for the windows. Then we put whatever. I'm just using this for an example. I didn't do this on mine. I used the lighter weight acetate. And then we go to the sewing machine and we start in one corner. We want to make sure this edge up here isn't sewn because we have to fill our sample card. So we go all the way around, and that's why you want to make sure the acetate or whatever underneath is almost as big as this card. And then once we get that to that point, where'd I put it? Here it is. Okay, then we find the opening inside into the plastic, and because I'm doing sand, this sand is from a lake where I lived when I was a kid in Texas, and I just thought it'd be fun to have a little sample of it because we went up there. Let me get the extra sand off my hand. Okay, this was up near Comanche. It's Lake Proctor. Comanche was a little German town. There's some chunks in there, but they break down, all except for that rock. But I don't care about the rock. That'll actually make it work more like a shaker. Then you want to hold it tight and go over, and you start, I always start 2 inches over, 2 stitches right down here, and I go up, and then I turn and go across, and then I go back down a few stitches just to overlap the stitching so it holds real well. Oh, I thought I had, oh, here it is. And that's where I come up with this. It's all sewn around. Then you can cut it down. I did it with this little guillotine, but the problem is that acetate in there is slick. And you can get kind of a cut. I'm not going to cut this until I've sewn it. But you get somewhat of a cut on the top, and then you'll have to go in with scissors and trim it. You can leave it this size if you want. Where did I put the others? These pieces aren't really finished, but you can write on them. You can use a stamp and stamp words you want on there. You can make them look old and grungy. You can dye these backs of the cards before you even do anything. I didn't do that. I was kind of in a hurry, but I wanted smaller cards this time. I don't know why I made them so large, other than it was just cool, and the back of the card was that size. So I hope you think it's a great idea. You can put anything in there. You can put dried flowers. You can put a little sticker of like a bumblebee or a butterfly. You do all sorts of things. Have lots of fun.